You are listening to The Forest's Last Hope. Book 3 of 7 in the Iron Rule collection. Akumah Audiobooks. Chapter 2, Shadows of Darkness. The days that followed were a blur. The forest, once a place of solace, now pulsed with a strange energy, a hum beneath the surface. The encounter with the cloaked man, the ancient voice, the surge of power, it all felt like a dream, a fevered vision. Yet, the mark it left on her was undeniable. She was the guardian, a title both daunting and exhilarating. She couldn't confide in anyone, not even her mother. Bumi, with her constant warnings about the deeper woods, would dismiss her tale as a girl's fanciful notion. Talia was alone, a solitary sentinel guarding an ancient secret. One morning, as she sat lost in thought over breakfast, a knock interrupted the quiet. Her mother answered the door, revealing Sarah, her neighbor, her face etched with concern. "Sarah," Bumi greeted her, a hint of surprise in her voice. "What brings you here so early?" Sarah's expression was grave. "I need to speak with Talia," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Talia's heart pounded in her chest. Sarah had been distant since the incident in the forest, but she hadn't shared the secret. Could she somehow know? Bumi, sensing the tension, invited Sarah inside. As the door closed behind them, Talia couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to change. Sarah, her long gray cloak swirling around her, led Talia to the edge of the village. They paused at the edge of a small grove, a secluded spot shielded from prying eyes. "I know what happened in the forest," Sarah began, her voice a hushed whisper. Talia's eyes widened in astonishment. "How?" she asked, her voice barely audible. "I've lived here long enough to feel the pulse of the forest. When something disrupts the balance, it speaks to me," Sarah explained, her gaze piercing Talia's. "The Heartwood chose you, didn't it?" Talia nodded, her heart pounding. "Yes, but I don't understand why. I'm just an ordinary girl. I don't know how to protect it." Sarah's hand rested on Talia's shoulder, a comforting weight. "The forest doesn't." She said, her voice steady. "If it chose you, it's because you possess the strength and spirit to protect it. But beware, for Garin, the man you encountered, is a dangerous foe. He's returned to Pine Hollow, armed with dark magic, with his eyes set on the Heartwood's power." Talia's mind raced. The name Garin stirred a distant memory, a whispered tale from the village elders. Sarah's expression turned somber. "He was once one of us, but his greed led him astray. He left years ago, seeking power and wealth in distant lands. Now, he returns, corrupted by dark magic. Such power, when misused, can wreak havoc, destroying the balance of the forest and the village." Talia's heart pounded. "Why does he want the Heartwood?" she asked, her voice trembling. Sarah's gaze grew troubled. "The Heartwood is the lifeblood of the forest, a source of ancient power. In the wrong hands, it can be a weapon, capable of great destruction. Garin seeks to harness that power for his own nefarious purposes, threatening the very existence of our home." A shiver ran down Talia's spine. "How can I stop him?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't even know how to use the magic within me." Sarah smiled, a sad smile. "You will learn, in time. The Heartwood chose you for a reason, and I'm here to guide you. But be cautious. Garin has dark allies, and they'll stop at nothing to achieve their goal. You cannot confront him directly yet." Talia's fists clenched. The thought of Garin destroying the forest filled her with dread. The idea of facing him, a being of immense dark power, was terrifying. Sarah, sensing her fear, placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Courage isn't the absence of fear, Talia. It's acting despite it. You must do what's right, even if it scares you." Talia nodded, but doubt lingered. How could she protect the Heartwood if she didn't understand the magic it had bestowed upon her? She felt a deep connection to the forest, but harnessing its power remained a mystery. As they walked back, a sense of unease settled over the village. The villagers, usually so carefree, now moved with a cautious step, their eyes darting towards the forest. The once vibrant fields were now a sickly shade of yellow, the animals restless and agitated. The forest, the lifeblood of the village, was ailing. "Sarah, what's happening?" Talia asked, her voice barely a whisper. Sarah's face mirrored her concern. "Garen's influence is spreading. The forest, the lifeblood of our village, is reacting to the darkness. The crops wither, the animals fear. It's as if the very land itself is under siege." Talia's heart ached. The village, dependent on the forest's bounty, was on the brink. If Garen's grip tightened, the consequences would be dire. As they approached the village square, a crowd had gathered, their faces etched with worry. At the center stood a tall, cloaked figure, his face hidden in shadow. Yet, Talia recognized the glint in his eyes, a chilling reminder of the darkness he embodied. It was Garen. Garen's voice, smooth and persuasive, echoed through the square. "I have returned to Pine Hollow to usher in a new era of prosperity. For too long, we've been shackled by the forest's whims. But I have found a way to harness its power, to bend it to our will." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some faces, once filled with doubt, now held a glimmer of hope. Garen's words, laced with dark magic, were subtly influencing their minds. Talia clenched her fists, her heart pounding. She yearned to expose Garen's true intentions, to warn the villagers of the impending doom. But Sarah's restraining hand halted her impulsive action. "Not yet," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible. "His spell is strong. If you confront him now, you'll only draw attention to yourself, and you're not ready." Garen continued his deceptive speech, his voice growing more confident. "I understand your fears. The forest, with its mysteries and dangers, has cast a shadow over our lives. But with my guidance, we can harness its power for our benefit. Trust me." As Garen's words washed over the crowd, a growing number of villagers began to succumb to his influence. Their faces, once filled with skepticism, now wore a mask of blind faith. Talia knew she had to act, and soon. The fate of the forest, and perhaps the village itself, hung in the balance. Talia's heart pounded in her chest. She couldn't stand idly by while Garen's influence spread like a blight. Yet, Sarah's warning echoed in her mind. Rushing into action would only put herself and the village in greater danger. Garen was playing a long, insidious game, and she needed to be patient and strategic. As the crowd dispersed, Garen's eyes met hers, a cold, calculating glint in them. A shiver ran down her spine. She knew he was aware of her presence, and she feared what he might do next. Once the square was empty, Sarah turned to Talia. "This is just the beginning," she said gravely. "He's sowing seeds of doubt and fear, manipulating their minds to turn against the forest. But they can't believe him," Talia exclaimed, her voice filled with frustration. "He's a danger to us all." Sarah's expression softened. "People are easily swayed by fear, Talia. That's how Garen operates. He exploits their vulnerabilities. To defeat him, you must be stronger than his fear and deception." Talia felt the weight of her responsibility, a heavy burden on her young shoulders. She was not just protecting the Heartwood, but the very soul of her village. The thought of Garen wielding the forest's power for his own nefarious ends filled her with dread. Yet, she refused to succumb to fear. "I'll do whatever it takes," she vowed, her voice resolute. Sarah's expression softened, a flicker of pride in her eyes. "Then we have much to do. The true battle is yet to come." As Talia walked home, the forest loomed large, its ancient power stirring within her. Garen's words echoed in her mind, a chilling reminder of the danger that lurked. But so did the voice of the Heartwood, a whisper of hope and destiny. "You are the guardian." Talia was uncertain, unprepared. Yet, she knew she had no choice. The forest had chosen her, and now, she must rise to the challenge, shielding it from the encroaching darkness. Akumah Audiobooks. You have reached to the end of the chapter. Click next, and continue listening to The Forest's Last Hope. This story consists of 7 chapters, as such 7 videos. Consider subscribing for more epic tales by Akumah Audiobooks and refer to channel playlist for better experience. Have a nice day.